Welcome to the supporters update. It is October 2024, and this is the latest in the quarterly updates for our supporters, our donors, our partners, our funders, and those who want to be kept up to date with what's happening across the movement of Woodcraft Folk. My name is Des McCann, and I'm the Chief Exec of Woodcraft Folk. And today, the updates are designed to help keep everybody updated, as the name would suggest. It's an opportunity for our members and our supporters to ask questions, for me to enthuse you and encourage you to get more involved, and for me to listen to your feedback, questions, ideas, and suggestions. Throughout the session, you are welcome to ask questions, so please just use the chat or unmute yourself and talk as we go through. In this update, it's a general update, so we're going to cover news from across the movement, from our groups, our centres and our projects. This is a photograph here of the Pioneer Camp that took place at Biblins in August. I'll share a few events for your diary, update you on a few of the staff changes, talk a little bit about our centenary plans for 2025, and we'll end the session about how you can support Woodcraft Folk. So we've got some really good news. Since the last update in July, we've opened some new groups, and new groups in new places for Woodcraft Folk, which is even more exciting. So we've opened one in Colford, which is in the Forest of Dean, not far from Biblins Youth Campsite. One in, or two groups actually, in East Bergholt, and one in Salttree, as well as one group in Glasgow and Edinburgh. So it's really great to see the network thriving, and it's a really positive increase in new groups this year as we feel like we're fully recovering from the COVID disruptions of 2020 and 2021. The membership team have also updated the new group guide, so check that out on our website. And currently they're running a health check survey with our existing groups so that we can tailor our training and support to best meet their needs throughout the rest of 24 and into 2025. As always, if you have questions about our groups, get in contact with membership@woodcraft.org.uk. Leanne and Rosie will be delighted to answer your questions. There's also lots of news from our centres, and tonight I'm joined by Truffles, the boar who lives at Biblins. Thanks to Jenny for the artwork. And the good news is that after a few years of delay, the working group who have been focused on the Biblins bunkhouse has started to refocus on that rebuild project. And they have been successful with a grant from Design for All. And over the next few months, we'll be working with quality surveyors and architects and planning specialists to help us progress the work that we need to get that bunkhouse back hosting residential activities. Biblins also hosted a very successful elfin activity event with 30 elfins in September. And there's not just good news at Biblins. Highgate in October half term will be hosting an art exhibition for local children and young people, thanks to a grant from the Culture Dale Society at Calderdale. So thank you. Good news all round. Lockerbrook here, you can see volunteers and members, young and old, celebrating Lockerbrook's 60th birthday party, which they had on Saturday. And as part of the birthday treat, everybody is invited to make a booking at Lockerbrook. And if you use the code 10LBFriends 2025, you'll get a 10% discount. So by all means, have a look at the calendar and make a booking to enjoy that wonderful view. And there's a special thank you from Cudham. Cudham, you will have heard from previous updates, unfortunately had a very serious problem with ash dieback, and we had to remove a lot of the trees. And you can see here two volunteers surveying what is left of the woodland. We have successfully reached our fundraising target and got a grant and some public donations to enable us to be able to plant 700 trees over the next 10 years to replace those that had to be taken down. The team are really keen to have as much support as possible. So if you fancy helping to support the project, please contact Cudham at woodcraft.org.uk to see how you can get involved in the replanting activities. And very swiftly onto our project news. As the photo showed earlier, we had a very successful pioneer camp at Biblins in the summer where 100 people came together and enjoyed some glorious weather, as well as games and activities in the Biblin sunshine. They were also able to influence the programme plan for Camp 100 in 2025. Our biggest project at the moment is the Peer Action Collective, which we're delivering with the Youth Endowment Fund and the Young Foundation. Our young leaders have been delivering workshops in how to adopt cooperative approaches in youth-led social action with local teams of young people who have been brought together by a wide range of youth organisations because they experience violence in their community. And the team have been out to Hull, to Bradford, to Bristol, Middlesbrough, London and to Blackburn, delivering those workshops over the last couple of months. And it's really beautiful to take Woodcraft Folk's young leaders and cooperative values to other youth work settings. Since the last update, we've also had 2 young members travel to Peru as part of the IFM Impact project. Now, that project has been running for 2 years and is soon coming to an end at the beginning of next year, but has been looking at the impact of lockdown on young people and the development of best practice in online youth work, working with young people from Finland, from Austria, from Peru, from Zimbabwe and from Palestine. So we're looking forward to the final research and toolkit from that project, which should be published in February 2025. And then the very good news is only last week we heard that our application to the National Lottery Heritage Fund was successful, and we will soon be launching the 100 Objects for 100 Years project. I'll talk a little bit more about that project when I talk about our centenary plans later. Or maybe straight away, actually. So, as part of our centenary plans, we have this 100 Objects for 100 Years, which will include a touring exhibition. Now, we're working in partnership with the Special Collection team at UCL, as well as the Museum of Youth Culture and the Cooperative Heritage Trust. The touring exhibition will be in London, Kettering, Manchester and Rochdale, and we will be looking to recruit 20 young people to learn about the role of an archivist, cataloguing, but importantly to identify 100 objects from our collection that tell the story of Woodcraft Folk, how Woodcraft Folk has delivered education for social change over the last 100 years. And from those objects, we will produce a whole host of materials to showcase Woodcraft Folk to the wider world. There'll be some recruitment material coming out in the next this month and early in November. So if you're interested in finding out more about that, please email debs@woodcraft.org.uk. Other things happening in the centenary is there are a couple of publications. The first is a history book of Woodcraft Folk, which is being published by the UCL Press, which includes a range of essays about Woodcraft Folk's history, Woodcraft Folk's approach to international camp, to international development, Woodcraft Folk's inclusion of young people in decision making. It's quite an academic book that has been developed following the symposiums that UCL have hosted in 2019 and 2022. There's also a more general publication about different elements of Woodcraft Folk being published by the Cooperative Studies Journal. And that will have a range of contributions from our young members as well as from academics, talking about Woodcraft Folk and feminism, what it's like to be a young person organising a national event in Woodcraft Folk, as well as some case studies from the influence that Woodcraft Folk has had on members as they choose their life careers. But there's As well as publications, lots of events and opportunities to get together. The London region will be celebrating as part in the New Year's parade through the streets of London. Highgate and Holloway district will also be producing a walking exhibition called The Streets of London, which will be launched in March, showcasing important locations and having a collection of oral histories of members past and present. And of course, we've got Count 100. We are encouraging all groups to recognise the centenary. So please take a look at the programme activities and badge work that will be shared by the membership team. We'd like you to reach out to your alumni, invite them along, organise a party, whether or not it's cake, whether or not it's a picnic, a hike. Just get together and celebrate as if you would, as if it was your 100th birthday. We're also inviting groups to share significant locations on History Pin, which will gather a map of Woodcraft Folk, whether or not that's your meeting location, campsites, or where you first met Woodcraft Folk. Watch this space. We'll be sending out more information to group leaders soon. And of course, we want you to attend Count 100 and participate in one of the 100 challenges. The 100 hundreds are 100 challenges. You don't have to do them all, but these ideas have come from our volunteers and our young members, and they vary hugely. They're designed to do as a group and with friends. So have a think about what best suits you, whether or not it's sitting down and making 100 piece crates or a paper chain with 100 links. Walking 100 miles, preferably as a team, maybe 10 each. Dancing for 100 minutes if you don't get too hot and sweaty. Playing 100 games, recycling 100 items, raising 100 pounds, baking 100 cookies, your choice. Here on this image, there are lots and lots more to choose from, or make up your own 100. But do share on our social media. We look forward to celebrating 100 hundreds next year. And I can't talk about the centenary without mentioning Count 100. It is taking place 27th of July to the 6th of August at Kelmarsh Hall in Northamptonshire. Bookings are open and we encourage people to book as soon as possible. We're encouraging you to book soon to support the volunteer team who are helping with the organisation. As soon as they get an idea of the support needs of individuals coming and the scale and number of campers, it helps them with their planning. Throughout the camp, there will also be opportunities to come along as a day guest. So we will be inviting lots of our partners and funders to the showcase day on the 31st of July. Members will be invited to the annual general meeting, which will take place on Saturday, the 2nd of August. And family and friends of the campers will also be invited to visit them on the 3rd of August to bring them supplies from home and check that they're having a really good time. For more information about Count 100, check out the website count100.org.uk. If you're also really interested, tomorrow evening, Lauren will be hosting a funding idea session about how you can raise funds to bring your group to Count 100. So check that one out too. The other thing that's happening with Count 100 is that for the last couple of years, Woodcraft Folk has engaged in the Big Give Christmas Challenge, which is a match funding campaign. And this year we will be doing it from the 3rd to the 10th of December. And every penny that is donated in that public campaign will be matched by an external funder. And we welcome donations of all sizes, everything from £1 upwards. And as I said, every penny will be matched. And funds raised through the Christmas Challenge this year will be used to provide solidarity funding to both UK and international delegates to address the financial barriers of participating in camp, and will be available for children, young people and volunteers to apply for. We'll be sending out more information about the Christmas Challenge in the weeks and the days between the 3rd and the 10th of December, and our next supporters update will also run in that first week in December to remind you. If you are considering and are able to make a contribution, perfect time to do it would be between the 3rd and the 10th of December. Then every penny will be matched. Now, there are lots of events happening, so check these out, but also have a look at our website, woodcraft.org.uk/calendar, and you will see a whole host of camps, training, meetings. All the dates are there. You can click and add it to your diary so you don't forget. But over the next couple of weeks, as I've already mentioned, there's a fundraising ideas session tomorrow night with Lauren. Then on the 23rd of October, for all those treasurers and district group leaders, there's a financial returns webinar to explain the process of how we consolidate our finances and what information is required from each of our branches. Now, that's happening on the 23rd of October and will be delivered by Ros, one of our finance volunteers, and Ruth, our head of resources. Then there's our usual monthly new volunteer induction session happening on the 29th of October, which will be delivered by Lauren and Owen. That first weekend in November, our DFs will be gathering for the autumn nocturne. Now, this has become a regular feature in the DF calendar over the last couple of years. So if you are of DF age, 16 to 21, by all means, check that out by having a look at the DF website. And then there is a training webinar, which is aimed at our volunteers, which is focusing on staying safe whilst making social change. And that's taking place on the 7th of November and will be delivered by Owen, our head of membership. As I said, all of these dates and the joining instructions are available at woodcraft.org.uk/calendar. Well, as those, there's lots of things still happening at our centres. The sun may be going to bed earlier, the weather might be turning a little chilly, but there's still much going on. We're continuing to have our weekly Wednesday sessions at Cudham and the first Friday of the month working parties at Biblins. So if you're interested in those, please get in touch, Cudham at woodcraft.org.uk or Biblins at woodcraft.org.uk. As well as stuff for volunteers, there is opportunities for our young people. So we have a venture activity weekend at Biblins on the 11th to the 13th of October. So that's this weekend. It's not too late to sign up. There's a Camps for All session, which is the camps we invite for young people who are either new to Woodcraft Folk or perhaps have grown up through Elfins and Pioneers, but in their area there's not a venturer group, so they can continue to still have a Woodcraft Folk experience. There's one at the end of October half term at Highgate, of which there are only 3 places left, so you have to be quick. And then one in the middle of November at Cudham. They will be the 5th session of the Camps for All this year, which after our successful sessions at Lockerbrook, Biblins and in Scotland. And Lockerbrook will also be hosting a working weekend that last weekend in November. So if you fancy doing some gardening, a bit of painting, a bit of cleaning, or helping to spruce up the displays in the activity room, get in contact with Lockerbrook at woodcraft.org.uk. They would welcome the support. And the end of the year highlight for so many of us will be the Elfin Sleepover weekend at Cudham on the 13th to 15th of December. Still looking for some volunteers, and if you are running an Elfin group in London and the South East, don't forget to book yourself and your group to come along. We know it's a firm favourite with the Elfins. And then I've got some news about staff. So it's been all change. In August, we said goodbye to CC, our fundraiser, who's been with us for 2 years. And we also said goodbye to Pat, who joined the team as the Biblins assistant. And this month, we'll be saying goodbye to Felix, our head of centres. It's sad to say goodbye, but there will also be new opportunities coming up. They currently aren't live, but they will be shortly at woodcraft.org.uk/vacancies. So keep an eye out for them. They'll also be on our social media. We'll be looking for a project officer for the 100 Objects project, looking to replace CC as a fundraiser, looking for a new Biblins assistant, and for a domestic assistant at Lockerbrook too. All of these roles are part-time. Some of them are based, as you can tell, in our centres. Others will be home-based roles. So if you're interested or know somebody who might be, direct them to our vacancies webpage. Then we're towards the end of tonight's session. Just to let you know, we're still promoting Friends of the Folk, and we've been really pleased with the uptake in recent months. And we'd encourage you to share it with your friends and to encourage people to make unrestricted donations. Now, there is no minimum donation required. So all amounts are welcome. If you can gift aid, even better. That enables us to draw down 20% extra from HMRC from tax that you have paid elsewhere in your life at no extra cost to you. Please share it, because that unrestricted donations really helps Woodcraft Folk be responsive to the needs of our volunteers and our young members, particularly in these times of increasing costs. And there's some other nice things that we'd like you to consider doing. Now, we have been part of Give As You Live for a long time, but we're having a very special push at the moment. So Give As You Live, you do your normal online shopping, and at no extra cost, they will make a donation to Woodcraft Folk. Different percentages depending on which store that you shop at. But you do need to register with Give As You Live. So there are 6,000 stores who donate for you by shopping. Lots of everyday brands that you might be using, and maybe some of the special holidays and other bookings that you might be making. Now, at this moment in time, every friend you can signpost Woodcraft Folk gets an extra £5. It's really simple to sign up. It doesn't cost you any money. It takes less than 2 minutes, and you just do your normal online shopping, and the donations come into Woodcraft Folk. So check out giveasyoulive.com, join Woodcraft Folk, or use the QR scanner here. It really is very, very simple, and again, that generates that unrestricted income that helps us support and respond to the ideas of our young members. Other things to celebrate. So I know we've spoken before in supporters updates about the importance of our trade union affiliations. We've had 16 new branches affiliate in 2023, which has doubled the number of affiliations to Woodcraft Folk, which is really, really positive, and we're looking to grow that more. We're currently working with our affiliates to identify how they can contribute to the programme at Count 100 and how we can support some of their campaigns by engaging our young members and our volunteers. So if you are a member of a union and you feel that your branch would like to affiliate, please get in touch, have a look at the link on the page, or scan the QR code, because we can provide you with a template letter and model motion to make it as simple as possible. Do get in touch with fundraising at woodcraft.org.uk if you need any help with any of that. And the last ask, for just £1 a week, perhaps you could consider supporting Woodcraft Folk through the Union Lotto. All profits from the Union Lotto support the General Federation of Trade Unions and their education work, but also some of the funds will come to Woodcraft Folk and other good causes, and you might be in the chance to win up to £25,000 each week. That's the end of my promotion for gambling. If you fancy a flutter, think of Woodcraft Folk while you're doing it. And then my last thing that some of you may have noticed is that we are changing the way that we do our e-newsletters. So to make sure you get the news that you want, we've set up a number of targeted newsletters for our young members, our volunteers, and our more general supporters. So we would like you to sign up at woodcraft.org.uk/sign up to e-news and tell us which newsletters and which news you would like to receive. And then hopefully you won't get information that you don't want any more. So take a look at that link and make sure that you're signed up so you don't miss out on events and opportunities to get involved. Now, I've reached the end of my session, so it's really whether or not you have any questions, but I know many of you are shy, so I will stop the recording.